Have y'all heard of this story of Rodney Taylor, the double amputee detained at the Stewart Detention Center in Georgia for over a year? Uh, Due to the unhygienic and unsafe conditions that he's being held in, his deteriorating health, and his lack of access to proper medical care at the facility, a number of U.S. lawmakers are now getting involved. According to recent reporting by The Guardian and a number of other sources, a group of 21 members of Congress, led by Representative Pamela Jayapal, sent a formal letter on the 17th of February to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. They argue that Taylor is experiencing extreme hardship in detention and that his health continues to worsen. So, why are the lawmakers intervening on his behalf? Well, the letter draws heavily on reporting about Taylor's situation, reporting that highlights poorly fitted prosthetics causing pain and mobility issues, skin wounds, and other health complications like boils because of these, alleged unsanitary conditions at the facility, which represent an extreme threat if somebody is having skin conditions like boils. Concerns that ICE is failing to provide adequate medical care for someone with this level of disability. Now, Taylor was detained more than a year ago after being seized outside of his home in Loganville, Georgia. Lawmakers argue that continuing to hold him under these conditions is inhumane and unnecessary. I mean, I'm sure that ICE will argue he's a violent, illegal alien who represents an immediate risk to everyone in America, as soon as he gets a proper pair of prosthetic legs. But we know what their arguments are like. But this case really underscores the ongoing scrutiny of ICE detention practices. I mean, some of the allegations that are being made about his treatment in this facility are, for instance, that they were basically bringing him his meals because of his handicapped and the fact that it's so difficult and painful for him to walk. And then the detention center, the head of the detention center said, this isn't Meals on Wheels. And now he has to painfully drag himself across the floor or hobble on his poorly fitting prosthetics that he has boils and skin lesions from in order to get his food and take it back to his cell. Even worse than that, they are saying that the conditions in the showers and the bathrooms are so unsanitary. The detainees are not allowed proper time or use of bathrooms or access to bathrooms. So a lot of the time when they do get to go to a restroom-like area, like the showers, they will defecate and urinate and other things in that area because who knows when the next time they're going to get a chance to is. So under those conditions, because he doesn't have proper prosthetics, because he doesn't have proper care, the only way for him to take a shower is to take off his prosthetics and drag himself by his hands with his legs dragging with, what he has of his legs dragging through this disgusting shower water in order to reach his shower chair. And then when he's done showering, he has to drag himself back through this disgusting mess in order to go back to his cell. All of this represents a severe health hazard for someone with his conditions. It's basically medical mistreatment. That's my opinion. I know it hasn't been necessarily analyzed as that, but it definitely sounds like that to me. And I think a lot of people would reach a similar conclusion, or at least want it investigated to see if it is medical mistreatment. And this just underscores all of the things that ICE has been accused of and caught doing in their detention centers in the last year or so. And it also reflects growing political pressure on federal agencies such as Congress and others to address these humanitarian concerns within immigration enforcement. And we saw what happened with Liam down in the Daley, Texas center. People protested for weeks. Congress people came in and they got him out. Sadly, they only got him and his dad out, and there's still hundreds of children there. But every win is a win. And you may say, Well, it didn't mean much. It was just one kid, but I think it means a lot to that kid and his dad. I'd call that a win.